Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
Following breaking news this morning, now it's 6. A man is hurt after a shooting near downtown Raleigh. Police are still working to make an arrest.
And when you step out the door, it feels tolerable, but we're about to move to tropical with the potential for some dangerous heat this weekend. I'll show you.
We now know the names of 2 victims who died in a plane crash here in Siler City on Friday. Just ahead, a look at the FAA report that we're expecting to come out today and learn more about what have caused that plane to come down.
A major win at the U.S. Open for Bryson DeChambeau. It didn't come easy, though, and there was heartbreak for another star down the stretch in the final round. Pinehurst #2. Another memorable U.S. Open at Pinehurst.
Oh, yes.
What a weekend. I'm Jeff Hogan. So glad you're with us on our Monday.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey in for an H2. Hopefully you guys had a nice weekend. Happy Father's Day
Thank
to you. Happy
Thank
Father's
you,
Day to all the fathers out there. We had a hot weekend. It's going to be another hot week, Elizabeth.
It really is. We take a live look here at Fayetteville, and we do have some cloud cover. If the clouds would stick around for a little while, it would keep us from warming up as fast, but we will see partly cloudy skies this afternoon, so we're definitely going to climb on up to around 90, which is what we hit yesterday. 73 in the Triangle area right now. Our dew point 62, so that puts us in the nice zone in terms of the way it feels outside, and we have some comfortable temperatures in a few places. 67 Clinton, 66 in Goldsboro, 67 South Hill. Elsewhere, we're looking at temperatures in the low 70s as you're heading out the door. We'll climb into the mid 80s at lunchtime and 90 this afternoon, which is the high we saw yesterday. We'll hold there for a couple of days, but then we're going to see some more intense heat. I'll show you why it could turn dangerous over the weekend. Coming up, Ken.
All right, Elizabeth, 6:01, all new in the WRAL Traffic Center. We just got reports of a crash that happened in the last few minutes on Capitol Boulevard in the northbound lanes there at Thornton Road. Of course, right now, because it just happened, not causing any problems right now. The sensors are not picking up any delays, but just watch for that just in case you're navigating Capitol Boulevard in the next few minutes. Elsewhere around the Triangle, all the major routes are delay-free this morning, and that's what we want to hear this time of the morning.
Thanks, Ken. With breaking news we're following this morning, a man is hurt after a shooting near downtown Raleigh. Police were called to the scene near Jones Street and Idlewild Avenue just after 1 o'clock this morning. WRAL's Heidi Kirk is at the Raleigh Police Department for us this morning. And Heidi, those officers on that scene investigating for a few hours overnight.
And Jeff, that shooting happened just blocks away from where we're standing at the Raleigh Police Department. As you said, quite a large police presence in that area. You can see on your screen some footage that we shot early this morning around 1 a.m. when this shooting happened. We don't know much at this point, but what we have heard from police is that one adult male was shot. That person has non-life-threatening injuries. And Raleigh police confirmed to us that they have no suspects at this time, but of course we're continuing to press them for answers and know where the investigation stands. And as soon as we get those answers, we'll make sure you know as well. Heidi Kirk, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
And today we're expecting to get more details about what caused this plane crash in Chatham County. 2 people died when the plane went down on Friday near Siler City. And WRAL's Laura Levine is at the Siler City airport this morning. Laura, it's so sad. We know the victims were a flight instructor and his student.
Yeah, Michelle, we know the NTSB investigation is well underway, but that could take several months. However, the FAA plans to publish its preliminary report today, which could give us somewhat of an idea of what caused that plane to come down suddenly here in Siler City on Friday. I want you to take a look at some of the Sky 5 video of the crash site, where you can see emergency crews found the Piper PA-28140 on fire in the woods near the Siler City airport. Now, yesterday, State Highway Patrol identified the victims as flight instructor McMillan Abernathy and student Justin Strauss. Abernathy was a certified flight instructor for Raleigh Exec. This comes as several plane crashes have happened in North Carolina in recent months, all involving smaller aircraft. The FAA preliminary report will come out at some point today. This is a story that we will continue to follow and stay on top of as investigators work to figure out what happened. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Siler City.
Good morning, I'm Chris Lovingood in the WRAL Live Center. We have learned within the past 20 or so minutes that the Surgeon General, Vivek Murthy, is calling for a sort of tobacco product style warning label that would be placed on social media platforms. He called for this in an opinion piece in the New York Times. He says that the label would include language to alert users to the potential mental health harms on websites and apps, and says that in order to do this, it would require congressional action. And he says essentially this would remind parents and their children that this would, quote, the social media has not proven safe. And if you stick with WRAL through our show at 7 o'clock, the Surgeon General will be on today talking a little bit more about him calling for that warning style label.
Today, a major business development in our state officially opens after years in the making. Boom Supersonic's jet building facility at the Piedmont Triad Airport in Greensboro was celebrated ribbon cutting today. In 2022, Governor Roy Cooper announced the $500 million investment from the company. It's expected to bring about 2,400 jobs to the region. The average pay for those jobs will be nearly $70,000. Cooper plans to speak at today's ceremony, which gets started at 11 this morning.
A local landmark in Johnston County is recovering from a devastating fire. Smith's Farm Market in Benson lost a large part of its business after fire destroyed a barn that was filled with farm equipment and the nursery offices. The fire broke out at a farm on Sanders Road around 3 o'clock Sunday morning. Crews from more than a dozen fire companies responded, and the business owners say they're now focusing on the cleanup. People from the surrounding community are coming forward to show their support.
They are precious. They are heart of this community, this place right here. Everybody comes and enjoys it, and all the cars line up.
And we're told their popular market, their garden and ice cream shack were not damaged. They're still open for customers. A GoFundMe campaign set up by a frequent customer has already exceeded its $5,000 goal.
Today, the Wake County Board of Commissioners will gather for the first time since approving the county budget. Commissioners passed the budget earlier this month. It includes more than a $58 million increase in school funding. It also increased tax bills for people who saw their property value increase. The meeting is happening at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Before that, the County Commissioners Public Safety Committee will meet, and they will talk about strategies to put a juvenile crime prevention council in place. They'll take a look at the challenges to improve the county's 911 call processing center. They'll also hear a presentation on a proposed federal rule that changes how emergency responders operate.
A person is hurt after a shooting during a 15-year-old's birthday party in Johnston County. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker was on the scene as police responded to the Richard B. Harrison Gymnasium in Selma late Saturday night. One person was taken to the hospital. Authorities say a suspect has been identified and arrest warrants have been issued, but the person is not in custody at this time.
Johnston County authorities are searching for a person after a high-speed chase. This was the scene from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker around 1 o'clock Sunday morning. A black car was being loaded onto a tow truck there. The driver took off after crashing near the intersection of Highway 210 and North Pleasant Coates Road in Benson.
This year's U.S. Open Championship at Pinehurst #2 is in the books. Bryson DeChambeau is the big winner. It's his second U.S. Open Championship. He was happy. DeChambeau celebrated with fans after the tournament. He took his trophy into the crowd to share the moment with them. He beat Rory McIlroy by 1 stroke to claim the championship. His other U.S. Open win was in 2020 in New York. There were no fans there that year because of the COVID pandemic. And coming up in What's Trending, a look at McIlroy's tough finish that dropped him out of the lead and how he reacted afterward.
Today, Durham city leaders will vote on whether to adopt the proposed budget for the coming year. A $955 million budget is up more than 7% from the current budget. It includes a 3.25-cent property tax increase. It also increases the budget for Durham Public Schools by $13 million. The vote will happen at City Council's meeting tonight. It starts at 7.
Also today, we'll be watching the Team USA swim trials to see if someone from the Triangle has a trip to Paris in their future. Cary native Claire Curzan came in 4th during yesterday's women's 100-meter butterfly final. The top 2 swimmers make it to the Olympic team, so she did not make the cut in that event. She does still have her top event, which is backstroke. That race is happening today. And Kyle Ponsler from NC State, he finished 6th in the men's 400 individual medley final, not making the team for that event either. The Olympic swimming trials action continues through Sunday. You can watch all of the excitement right here on WRAL.
The Outsiders is the big winner at this year's Tony Awards. The adaptation of the 1983 movie took home the honor for Best Musical. Daniel Radcliffe also had a big night. The former Harry Potter star won the award for featured actor in a musical for his role in Merrily We Roll Along. Coming up in less than 10 minutes, more of what has people talking from last night's ceremony, including a surprise performance from rapper Jay-Z.
Trouble in the Seine as the Paris Olympics are just weeks away. The issues with bacteria in the water where swimming will be competing this summer.
And fathers and sons making memories together at Pinehurst #2. How the course helped them celebrate Father's Day as the U.S. Open wrapped up competition.
And our 7-day forecast is hot. Officially, the first day of summer is Thursday. And then dangerous heat for the weekend with highs in the upper 90s. I'll show you what it will feel like with the heat index.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
612, some cloud cover out there as you walk out the door this morning. You can see that in Wilson where it's 70 degrees and mixed with some sun and clouds there in Durham. And, you know, it looks like a pretty dark cloud sitting over Durham, but unfortunately we don't have any rain in the forecast until potentially over the weekend. And even then it's just a small chance. 70 degrees in Fayetteville where we're seeing a little bit of cloud cover this morning. Those clouds will mostly dissipate by the time we get to lunchtime. We'll see conditions that feel very much like we saw yesterday. It's a mild start, temperatures upper 60s to low 70s. With some cloud cover, and then we'll see variably cloudy conditions as we get through the day. Lunch outside might feel okay, 85 degrees, but by this evening, even at dinner time, temperatures will still be in the upper 80s. We'll talk about some dangerous heat coming up. Ken?
Happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. We're just seeing a little bit of brake tapping going on I-885 there in Durham, but nothing to write home about. Elsewhere in the Triangle, we're monitoring this crash on Capitol Boulevard at Thornton Road. It's not causing any problems for you this morning. And all the major thoroughfares, including this one, I-40 and Airport Boulevard, traffic flowing smoothly in both directions. That's what you want to hear, especially you have an early morning flight getting ready to head to the airport.
All right, thanks, Ken. Today at noon, there will be a short service at Charleston, South Carolina church where 9 people were killed in a shooting 9 years ago today. Worshippers were attending a Bible study at Emmanuel AME Church on the night of June 17, 2015. A white supremacist carried out the shooting during the final prayer. He was sentenced to death in 2017. A balloon release will happen today after the ceremony honoring the victims and survivors.
A Domino's driver was shot and robbed while trying to deliver a pizza in Clayton. That call came in around 12:30 Sunday morning. Responders rushed the delivery driver to Wake Med. Police say he should recover from his injuries. Police arrested 21-year-old Jalen Moore and charged him in connection with that shooting and robbery. His bond is set at $100,000.
Today, the Johnston County Board of Commissioners will vote on a $364 million budget proposal. The proposed 2024-25 budget is up 3.6% from the current budget. More than $93 million of the budget would go to Johnston County Public Schools. It also includes raises for all county employees. The vote will happen at the board's meeting. That's tonight at 6. Toyota is recalling about 13,000 cars after concerns about a camera defect. Toyota says the cases for the front and rear view cameras in 2023 Crown vehicles can get water inside of them. That can cause the cameras to malfunction, which could increase the risk of hitting people. Toyota says it'll contact owners of the recalled cars by August. You can also check Toyota's website to see if your car is among the recall.
Unsafe levels of bacteria have been found in the Seine River in Paris less than 2 months before the Olympics are set to begin. A new report shows during the first 8 days of June, the river had bacteria like E. coli at levels that would be unsafe for athletes to swim in. The report comes after Paris saw persistent heavy rain. An International Olympic Committee executive says there are no reasons to doubt the races will go on as scheduled. The first event in the Seine will be the men's triathlon. That's July 30th. The river has seen a $1.5 billion investment towards cleanup efforts.
A surprise performance at last night's Tony Awards has a lot of people talking this morning. Jay-Z joined Alicia Keys on stage to sing Empire State of Mind. It was a big night for Keys. Her semi-autobiographical musical Hell's Kitchen won 2 awards. And Angelina Jolie is celebrating her first Tony Award. She was one of the producers of The Outsiders, which won for Best Musical. She is now halfway to an EGOT. She won an Oscar back in 1999 for Girl Interrupted.
For many area fathers who are also golf fans, the final day of the U.S. Open was a perfect Father's Day gift. Many fathers and their sons and daughters, they were among the 50,000 people who walked through the gates at Pinehurst No. 2 for the final round. For some, it was also a chance to reflect upon their own fathers.
I grew up on a golf course with my dad, so it's always emotional for me to be around the sport because he can't play anymore. So, you get emotional about those things, but you get to share it with your kids, so it's a beautiful thing.
And Pinehurst Resort also shared this emotional video. They shared it to social media. It shows people calling their dads, leaving a Father's Day message on phones that were placed around the course by the resort. It's a pretty nice touch. They thought of everything out there and had a fantastic finish as well. Elizabeth Gardner of the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Certainly didn't lack the heat. It was on for the last 4 days there.
At 93 on Saturday, and that ended up being the hottest U.S. Open that we'd seen, the hottest day at the U.S. Open in Pinehurst. So that's not really the kind of record we want to see, but that's not going to change for us the rest of the week either. Take a live look at Goldsboro, and you can see that sun coming up there. It already looks hot, doesn't it? It's on the more comfortable side in some places this morning. We're in the upper 60s to low 70s. But here's a look at Pinehurst. They were watering those greens pretty heavily out there earlier this morning, and you may need to do the same because we have a dry 7-day forecast for the most part. In Apex, we're seeing some cloud cover. Chapel Hill also a little bit of cloud cover there as well to start with this morning. So you may be seeing mostly cloudy skies where you are, but that's not likely to last for the entire day. We're going to see some sunshine breaking out. Let's talk about the tropics. Couple of areas that we're keeping an eye on. You can see a lot of convection here around Central America. The southern Gulf of Mexico and the Bahamas area are the two places that we're watching for some potential development. Down here around the Bahamas or off the southeast coast of the United States, 30% chance of a system developing. But even if it doesn't become a tropical system, it is likely to push some moisture toward North Carolina by the time we get to the weekend. One thing that we know will happen is the humidity will go up, and that's going to bring us some potentially dangerous heat. There may be some rain with it, but it really looks like it's probably iffy that we'll actually see any rain out of this. We're up to 70% chance in 7 days that this system in the Gulf of Mexico will develop, and we'll watch it here on Futurecast. You can see some waves of rain coming off the Gulf up through the Mississippi Valley over the next couple of days. And that will, of course, help to keep those folks a little wetter. And then we start to see the circulation developing as we get into Wednesday and Thursday. That starts to push some rain into Texas. In the meantime, at least a tropical wave develops off the southeast coast. But watch what happens as we get into Friday and Saturday. There may be some rain along the coast, but at this point, it looks maybe iffy about whether or not we'll actually get any rain out of that system. So we'll keep our eye on it, definitely. Satellite and radar looking quiet right now. We have showers and thunderstorms on the west side of a high pressure system, but that high will keep things dry and hot for us as we get into the weekend. Low 90s until Friday. Friday will climb into the mid 90s. It'll feel like 100, and then we're in the upper 90s on Saturday and Sunday, where it will feel like 104 to 106. Now that typically puts us under a heat advisory, so we'll be watching for the Weather Service to see if they're going to issue that heat advisory for us. Friday, we do have a 30% chance of showers, depending on what happens with that tropical wave. But boy, are we dry. We're anywhere from about 15 to about 50% of our normal rainfall for the last 30 days, so we definitely need that rain. Thursday is the first day of summer, and of course, we're looking at the potential for some dangerous heat this weekend. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, we're just getting word that Raleigh police are working a couple of crashes on Capitol Boulevard. One is at Capitol Boulevard and River Haven Place in northern Wake County. We're trying to get a little bit more information about that. This one that's happened in the last 45 minutes or so, we've been monitoring here, Capitol Boulevard on Thornton Road. It's not causing any problems in your morning commute this morning, so nothing to worry about. Just wanted to let you know about it, just in case you monitor or go by Capitol Boulevard and you happen to see some police activity. Elsewhere around the Triangle, all the major routes are delay-free at this hour.
Thank you, Ken. A stolen ambulance crashes into a police car in Goldsboro. The charge is now being faced by the man officers say was behind the wheel.
And NC State's Cheese Queen rolls out another viral moment. Her appearance at the Durham Bulls Athletic Park coming up in What's Trending.
And as we head to break, here are your winning lottery numbers. Good luck.
What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug and Home.
U.S. Open at Pinehurst #2 was a memorable one, but one of the sport's top stars may want to forget it.
Yeah, Ken Smith's here now with What's Trending, Ken.
Yeah, listen, we were all glued to our television sets yesterday, right? Rory McIlroy missed 2 short putts on the 16th and the 18th holes. You see him right there to let that slim lead he had slip away. He ended up losing to Bryson DeChambeau by 1 stroke as he watched from the clubhouse as DeChambeau finished up his round. You can see the dejection on McIlroy's face. He left the clubhouse without speaking to the media.
Yeah, he's catching some grief for that as well, for not talking to the media. But he hasn't missed those putts all year, and he misses 2 of them at the key moment. But Bryson DeChambeau, that shot out of the bunker on 18,
absolutely
one of the hardest shots in golf, the long bunker shot, and it was awesome.
DeChambeau seized his opportunity right there and then. Well, talk about somebody seizing the opportunity. How about this? Instead of play ball, how about say cheese? Abby Lampy rolled out the cheese and threw the first pitch of Sunday's Durham Bulls game. The NC State grad is riding high after winning her 2nd cheese rolling championship last month in England.
I mean, would you expect anything else? She has to roll the cheese. This is her during that cheese roll in England. I mean, girl, she is awesome. Durham Bulls, they tweeted out, she literally got things rolling today for the ceremonial first pitch. But I mean, it was perfect. It's awesome. And then she threw the ball after she rolled the cheese.
Not a bad arm.
Yeah, no, she's awesome.
Very talented young lady.
She is.
Thanks, Ken.
Well, this morning on Today, actor Kevin Costner will be in studio for a live interview. He'll talk about all things fatherhood, Yellowstone, his new project Horizon, and more. Today airs at 7 o'clock right here on WRAL.
And speaking of Kevin Costner, his movie Bull Durham came out 36 years ago this week. Over the weekend, the Bulls shared some of the behind-the-scenes pictures of that filming.
Ah, so cool.
That's cool.
And celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay says his bike helmet saved his life after a bad crash. Look at that bruise on the side of his stomach there. Ramsay shared this video to Instagram showing that massive bruise after the crash. He says that he crashed while riding his bike in Connecticut. In his post, he shares his thanks to doctors and nurses at a nearby hospital who checked him out. He also encourages other cyclists to always wear their helmets.
We now know the names of the 2 people who died in this plane crash in Siler City on Friday. Just ahead at 6:30, I'll explain the details we're expecting to learn today from a FAA preliminary report.
And we have dangerous heat potentially in our forecast over the weekend. Highs will be in the upper 90s, could feel like 105 or hotter. I'll show you what that means for us coming up.
And we have breaking news out of Raleigh. A man is hurt after an early morning shooting near downtown. What police are telling us about what happened there and their search for the shooter.